we're gonna just take a quick peek and make sure, and just so we can see it, I want to see the hidden screen for a second, just so I can make sure it's actually showing me a hidden screen. There's the hidden screen. So we're going. And we're back, as they say. Let me get the chat back up. Hey, Legal's still with me. All right, cool. Nice. Okay, so now this is going to be... So I can send files to S3. That's awesome. That is step one of what we needed to do. I can get the credentials, I can send them to S3. The next thing that we need to be able to do is load data that's sitting in S3 into a Redshift database. And the way that you can do that, the Redshift database has a SQL command called copy. And when you send the copy command to Redshift, you can then point it to an you point it to an S3 bucket and an S3 file, and it grabs the data from that file and ingests it into the database. The reason we want to be able to do that is if you're just working with Alteryx out of the box and you want to send 1,000,000 rows of data to Redshift, it has to send those rows of data one shot at a time. And this is this is basically the main reason we're building all this stuff, is because that takes forever. If you take those same 1,000,000 rows, you mush them into an a CVS file, you put that file on S3, and then you run the copy command from Redshift, it's like lickety split, like it goes super fast. And like, I mean, we're talking like hours to minutes, and sometimes hour to seconds. So that's the thing here that we're really, the thing that I'm really solving for is for that, because everything else that Alteryx does that our analysts use is great, but as soon as they try and touch the database, like we run into trouble because it's just performance issues. We're sitting there waiting on the thing. Again, feature request for Alteryx, make MFA so I don't have to do all this stuff. Not that I don't like this stuff, but you get the point. So now what we're gonna do is try and figure out how to build a Redshift database. Which is something I've never done. So again, this is gonna be bumpy. This isn't really coding, this is just messing around. This is figuring out how to do stuff. So we know it's Redshift, a fast, simple, cost-effective data warehousing. All right, so we know that Redshift goes in clusters, and I wanna make a cluster. Redshift cluster 1, perfect. Oh, we're gonna do a free trial. I like the free trial. If your organization has never created a Redshift cluster, you're eligible for a free limited time trial on DC2 large. Okay, that's the DC2 large is the server type, basically. The following is charges free trial. Okay, DC2 large, 1 node, that's fine. Redshift, you can have multiple nodes, multiple boxes. Yeah, this is why I wouldn't want to keep it running, is if you just had this 1 node, it would be $2,000 a year, which is not what I want to do. You can get it down to $879 a year. I'm not really pay that. The cool thing though with Amazon services though is I could actually spin one of these things up after the free trial, and you see this like cost of node per hour. So I could run it for an hour, or sorry, I could run it for 5 hours, and I would owe it I'd owe them $1.25, because it's cost per node per hour. So what Amazon has done with their services is it's just incredible. Like you get access to a database that you can spin up and run, like that I'm just doing right now. I'm just going to spin up and run this database. And even if it wasn't on their free trial, like I'm going to work on this for a couple hours right now. It would cost me a couple quarters, and then I can tear it down. And then 3 days later, if I come back and I want to work on it again, I just build the thing back up. They also have this like CloudFormation stuff, which is basically how to like infrastructure as code. So you can basically define the structure of your database and just hit a button and have it spin up after you build all the stuff, which eventually I'm going to mess with because I'm super interested in all this stuff. And I just haven't done it. We use a bunch of this stuff, but I'm not the one who uses it. So a lot of this is fun for me to just kind of figure stuff out. Okay, cool. So Redshift database, cool, the master password. All right, so I gotta make a password. Which means, AWS user, instant, okay, so that's the master user login name. Okay, that's cool. So I'll be right back because I'm gonna make a password that we're gonna use. And we're gonna make a good password. That looks like a good password. I'm not making it, the generator's making it, because I'm not gonna make it. And we're sure that that's off. Oh, it must be 8 to 68 characters. Why is that the case? I don't like that, because I like making things that are way longer than 68 characters. All right, got that. Why isn't it scrolling? There we go, not scrolling. Cluster permissions. All right, so we got the password in, whatever. Dev, that's the port. This is all cool. This is all good. So like, right, I'm just setting this stuff up and then create cluster. We've got a virtual private cloud, security group. Okay, sure, let's do it. Redshift cluster 1, spinning up. So status is modifying right now, so we're making it. This will take us, I don't know, a minute or two. Actually, we'll see how long it takes. I have no idea. Actually, give me 1 second. I'm gonna look at something else while we do that. Okay, something's not going right over there. That's okay. So I'm on a whatchamacallit, Discord, and I thought I had it set up so that it would, in my user profile, it would actually just show that I was on Twitch and doing my thing and put the link in. It did not do that, so I'll have to figure out why that is. Now we just wait for a minute, or however long this takes. Trying to think if there's anything else we can do while that is. So we've got, we've got the copy command going. I guess the other thing we could do is we could just make a CSV file. Wrong mouse. Wrong mouse is the name of my new band. So, call 1, call 2, data 1, whoops, data 1, data 2. So it should just be 2-column CSV file, and like we can run this. And in a minute, we're gonna run out of credential. Looks like we still got it. Still modifying. I don't see a refresh. Oh, there it is. See if that refreshes. Oh, still creating. See how long it takes. S3, this. Let's see if our file looks like now. There you go. Right, so we have a super simple CSV file that we can mess with for our load. As soon as this creates. What else can we do in the meantime? But fuck it. So I started programming, so I'm self-taught and I've never really been a programmer. I did, like, way back in like 97, I started using Perl. Like, I started building websites in like 95, 96. And one of the things that I wanted to do was to be able to have stuff work dynamically, basically. the stuff that we do on websites today all the time, like have somebody log in, and then when you go to a page, have your name show up, but if I go to the same page, my name shows up. Like in the first days of the web, that wasn't really a thing. Everybody saw the exact same experience. So I got some books on Perl, taught myself enough Perl to kind of be dangerous with that, and then over time did a bunch of HTML, did some JavaScript. So I've been doing it since like 96, 97 when I got the books. I was doing HTML before that, so if you want to, which I can argue either way about whether or not HTML is a programming language. It's making a computer do a thing, so I tend to think it is. So I did HTML, but then like languages that interact with the computer that make it do stuff programmatically, probably since 97. But then I kind of bounce around in the stuff that I do. So often I need to go and make a specific thing happen. And so I go figure out how to make the specific thing happen. But I've never spent, 40 hours a week or however many hours a week as a programmer, if that kind of makes sense. So I've got a lot of programming experience in really weird things, but like I'm not a really deep programmer. Like I've pretty much always skimmed across the surface. But the thing that I found is, if you have a specific thing that you want to have happen, it's just a matter of poking at all the different ways that you can try and think of until you finally get there. And sometimes that's a lot harder than others. And when you first start out, you don't know what to poke at, and you don't really know what to do, like how to like really read error messages and Google the error messages. And when I was first starting, Stack Overflow didn't exist, so it was a whole different ballgame of trying to figure stuff out. But now the resources like Stack Overflow, and also a bunch of I oftentimes find things on like Mozilla Developer Network, pretty good, or really good. And people doing blog posts, like there's all kinds of resources out there that we've all got. And like, I'm not saying, young'uns, you got it easy today. Like, no, it's just, we have amazing stuff for us to use. So, and I'm still learning this stuff too. Like I'm literally like, this is the first time I've made a Redshift cluster. So it's all just poking. I hope that answered your question. That was kind of all over the place, but that's kind of the thing that I do. Cool, okay, so now we're in Redshift. Or we've got a Redshift cluster, it's available, it's running. I'm gonna turn a fan on because I've got a bunch of computers in here and it's hot. All right, fan's spinning up because we need more noise. Actually, that fan's probably gonna be quieter than the fan that's running this stuff. Okay, so now what we gotta do is talk to the thing. So one of the cool things about, and move that mouse, thank you. One of the cool things about the Amazon stuff is they keep adding all this, frankly, like, again, going back to when I was young, when I was a boy, we walked uphill both ways. The amount of horsepower and the amount of computing power and the specific pieces of software that you have access to now from Amazon for incredibly small amounts of money, if not free, are staggering. Redshift 10 years ago was like, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of dollars, not Redshift specifically, but the features that it has. Like, companies used to pay hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars for a bunch of the stuff that you can get like on Amazon now for like $2,000 a year. And like $2,000 a year for me, that's a lot of money. $2,000 a year for a big company, it's like nothing. But so one of the things they added a while ago was this queries thing. And I think, editor, that's what I'm looking for. All right. So here, we want to make a new connection. So this is basically just going to give us a database connection. The database name was dev. The database user, I hope it was database user, I think it is. And then we're going to go hide for a second while we get the password. Whoops. I need to get better at my master password. I hope we did have this user. Oh, we're gonna have to go find it. Okay, we're good there, we're good there. All right, we'll come back here, that's ready. All right, so there's our credentials. We're just gonna hit connect to database. Maybe, oh, there we go. So cool, we're connected to the database. Why is that not showing me all the way up? Refresh. Oh, why did I do that? Oh, there we go. Yeah, okay, sorry, it was just, it bugged out there for a second in the user interface. So these are the things that come in it. Public, what's in public? Nothing. Now here's the question: is where? So this, I use a Redshift database, but I never actually set one up from scratch. So I don't know where to put stuff. Yeah, so these, I don't know, I guess public is probably, here, let's try this. Whoops, pageable. Okay, yeah, where's the other one? I like this. This looks stock standard line. Let's try that one too. Fly data. So sometimes, by the way, when I Google, I just click the top 3 results and put them in new tabs because usually they're somewhere in there. Create sample tables. This is for something different. What is this for? Getting started, best practices, using copy to load data. That's actually what we're going to do. Download the data, upload, also done through, create a simple table. To drop the tables, we don't want to do that. Create part, table part. I don't know what the part is. Oh, part is the name of the table. I gotcha. Run the copy commands. So this is actually exactly what we want to do. So we're loading data. Yeah, so this works great. So loading data from Amazon S3 is exactly what we're trying to do from Alteryx. And what the Alteryx is going to do is it's going to fire the file up to S3, or file our CSV file up to S3, and it's going to fire the command to Redshift to say go suck all that stuff down. You can also do that like from the command line, so or from a query to Redshift. So the S3, the CSV file that we have sitting in S3 right now, I could run the copy command directly on that interface that I'm on right here, and that would suck it down. So, and that's actually what we'll do the first time to make sure it works, and then we'll take that same command and migrate it back into our new script that does the actual movement that way too. Is this the one? So create sample tables. I wasn't sure if you had to put it inside a particular, I guess it just automatically goes in public. This is the thing that I don't know. All right, we'll find out. See, that's the other thing about this. Like, years ago, this was hundreds of thousands of dollars, but right now it's just like me screwing with it for nothing. And if I break stuff, doesn't matter because there's no production behind this. I can go do all this exploration with no fear of problems. Well, not no fear, but you get the point. Step 1, spell right. Hey, it highlights for you too. Just create table, right? Yep. Create table. Test 1, we're gonna get all crazy with it. And then we just do, yep, parens. And so we're gonna do call 1, call 2, and we're just gonna call them var 256s. So that's just the character type. They can be null, that's fine. Not null, that's fine. Call 1. That's not good UI right there. The text is behind the numbers. That's not good. Call one, right, whoops, standby. Just space and that, cool, and then comma. And we're gonna do that 256, just because that's usually the max that you get. And I would do 255, just in case. And then we're gonna do, wow, it's really messing with me that right, so I'm in the public schema right now. That should just make a table. Query canceled. Oh, no, cancel query. Sorry, I got reversed there. Oh, I put a comma. No comma there. Cross your fingers. Hey, completed with a green check mark. So we got a table there. And here's our test table. That's one. With 2 columns. Oh, that's cool. And then you can click into that. That's what it's like. I still feel like UI is in the way here. Like I'm missing the top. Oh. That's super weird. It wouldn't let me scroll. Oh, there's a window inside a window. That's what was going on. I couldn't scroll this top one. I see. Makes sense. I don't like it, but it makes sense. All right, so we have our table. And now we're just gonna go back over here. And we're gonna run the copy commands. Copy table name, column list from data source. Credentials, access credentials, optional. Aha, here's where it gets tricky. That's right, it was from an IAM user with sufficient privileges. These credentials are an access key and a secret key to load the data. Oh, this is interesting. I wonder, I hope you can use the MFA credentials on that. Otherwise, that's gonna be tricky. I just want to look that up a little bit. Amazon Redshift MFA copy. Surely you can, I hope. IAM permissions for that. Yeah, I'm actually gonna have to make IAM credentials here too. Okay, so the copy command needs authorization to access data and other, so in S3, you can provide an authorization by referencing IAM role that is attached to your cluster. Aha. All right, we're gonna mess around with IAM permissions and stuff here. By providing access to the, okay. You can provide that authorization by referencing an AWS IAM role that's attached to your cluster, role-based access account, or by providing the access credentials for an IAM user key-based. For increased security and flexibility, we must IAM role-based. Okay, that makes sense. That way you don't have to send the keys down. Copy also use temporary credentials to limit access to your data and can confirm. Okay, so role-based access control is probably what we're going to want to look at. Yeah, okay, so you can do this. Here's the session token, so you can still do that. So that's what we would do for the IAM stuff if we needed to, or for the, if we did the IAM role. But let's actually try and figure out how to do the role-based one. The following topic for more. IAM permissions for this is what we want to have. For copy to S3, from S3, which is what we want. The Amazon S3 bucket are being loaded and the manifest file if one of these, okay. You manage IAM permissions. Okay, so I think this is where we get into roles. Oh wait, where did all that stuff come from? That wasn't there. I swear that wasn't there just a second ago. I'm on a different page. What the hell just happened? That other page had nothing. Oh, did it take me way down to the bottom? Is that what it was? Oh, it took me way down here. Okay. So I was confused. I was like, this is a very short page. Permissions access other AWS resources. Cool. So I'm still in Redshift. So Amazon's documentation also is great. It's huge and there's a lot of it, so you get overwhelmed with it, but it's really good. SQL commands, copy, usage, access permissions. Okay, that's where we are. I'm just looking to see what else is over there. So S3, we're gonna move data. For example, the data is copy must have list access to your buckets and get for the bucket. Okay, that makes sense. Needs to see the files that are in it and then pull them. For instance, see IAM permissions on there. Didn't we just do that? Is that what's down at the bottom? IAM permissions, okay. The IAM role for IAM user referenced by your credentials parameter must have it. Oh, so this is what we have to add to the IAM role. I gotcha. So all right, so now we're going to make a new IAM user. Or sorry, we're going to make a new IAM policy, and we're going to attach that policy to a role. And so roles are more what you assign to other to other processes versus like groups and users, which are like groups of users. Like users being people, groups is the group of the people. A role is like the script that we're using. We could assign a role to that. Or Redshift, you assign it a role. You don't make Redshift a user. Redshift gets a role because it's already its own thing. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to policies. We're going to create a policy, and we want to do S3. We want to list the bucket. Yeah, here's all the other stuff that you can do. Get object. List and get. See, it should actually have the full parameter name there. So that's for the copy. Okay, it looks like that's it. All right, so this also is where I get a little, I don't do this stuff that much. But so now we know that we want Amazon to have, or Amazon, Redshift. We're creating a role that we're going to attach to Redshift. And so it's permissions that it does. We're building the permissions that will go to the role. You build them piece by piece. This is the first piece. So we want the list and we want the get. By the way, everything I'm doing, if you're watching this anywhere or on later, verify all the stuff that I'm doing. Like, I am still new to this. This is my understanding. I'm kicking my way through it. I'm gonna get it to work, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the best way to do it, especially if you're like trying to get secure. So like, do your own research with this stuff too. Generally speaking, if it works, it's working. The biggest one is security, so just watch the security stuff, but just kind of be like, oh, you could be burning resources, whatever. So just, I want that caveat out there. I'm not an expert in this at all. So there you go. So now what we want to do is we're going to specify, so we got list and get, and now what we're going to do is come down here, and we could say list and get all the S3 buckets, but really what we want to do is a specific bucket. And so we're going to add an ARN. ARN is just the resource number, resource name. Yeah, Amazon resource name. So ARN, AWS S3, colon. Really the biggest thing you need to do right here is just do AWS PG Sandbox. So that's just the name of our S3 bucket. So we know that that's the case. And then, so that's bucket name. This is where I always get a little hung up. So we do that. So that's for the top level bucket. And then we need to do the objects. And so for the objects, AWS PG G Sandbox. Normally I copy and paste. I don't know why I'm just typing, right? And then object, we're going to do any. So that's going to put a star back here. So in this box, I'm going to give the Redshift, the role that Redshift is going to use, or the policy for the role that Redshift is going to use, access to anything inside the sandbox. You could actually just limit it to a specific file or to a specific directory inside, but this should be fine. So we're going to review the policy. We're going to call this Redshift. Actually, it doesn't make sense to call it Redshift. AWS PG Sandbox. Oh yeah, so this policy actually is just getting list. So read, and it is in S3, right? So okay, so that's cool. Read and list the S3 bucket AWS PG Sandbox. Create. Cool. Okay, so now we're going to make a role. I didn't make any of these, did I? These must have just been created automatically by Redshift, or when we made the Redshift database. I'm guessing, because it has to have some permissions, I'm sure. But we're gonna make, for new service, we're gonna make a role for Redshift. I still don't totally get this part of it. Somewhere in here there's a R. Oh wait, is there? Redshift, oh, right there. And the R's. Select your use case, Redshift. Permissions. Now we want to apply that same policy that we just had, which we can go S3. Hopefully. Nah, confused. Allows Redshift clusters to call Redshift AWS services on your behalf. That's what I want. What's Redshift customizable? So I mean, there we go. Okay, so weird. So I did the Redshift one, and it wouldn't let me. Like the only permission that it put in there was this one. But if I do Redshift customizable, I'm not 100% sure this is going to work, but we'll see. S3. Here's my read. So we're gonna, I'm not gonna tag anything. S3, AWS, PG, Sandbox, read. I would leave that for naming convention. No, actually, RS. We're going to call that Redshift for Redshift. Create the role. Cool. Now, how do we apply that role? How do we give that role to Redshift? We click on this button and hope that it takes us there. Role-based access control. With role-based, cluster temporarily students and IAM role on your behalf. You can use IAM role, standard IAM tools to define an IAM role. Yeah, okay. Fine-grained. Yep. Sure. How do we do it? To use role database, first create an IAM role. We did that. And attach your role to the cluster. Cool. How do we do that? Role must have at minimum the permissions listed in IAM. Person for copy, unload, and create. We don't have all that. Here we go. Associate permissions to associate IAM role with cluster. We're gonna see if we can put this in. After you've created an IAM role that authorizes rights. See, this is part of it, right? You just keep bouncing through pieces and like you end up with 5 million tabs open. I don't like this song. I mean, it's probably played 5 times now, but whoops, that's the wrong button. Too many windows, too many computers. I should just loop one of these in the background. But I don't know how that would go. Whatever. Kind of like this one. I have no idea if that's coming through. Cool. Okay. I'm getting a little worn out. And also, nope. Need to be able to see this. Let's put that up there. Put this down here. Put this over here. Now we can see things. All right. Permissions required to associate an IAM role. The IAM role with the cluster, which is what we're going to do. Okay, I've got admin, so I should go. Basically, I think this is saying that you have to have permission to actually make these things happen. The account I'm on is an admin account, so should have that, I think. You associate an IAM role, so create the cluster or modify the existing cluster. All right, we're gonna just kick around. Dashboard. Nope, let's go to clusters. Yeah, magic. So they also have some pretty decent. They got good monitoring, visualization stuff. I can't remember. I'm losing my words right now. Properties, cluster definition. I'm just messing around. I want to see if I can find somewhere that says role. And I may bullet past it 6 different times. Parameter group. Cluster details. Trigger one of these. Performance. Big. Nope, I don't think that's gonna be it. It's gotta be under cluster. Rotate, manage IAM roles. There we go. Choose a role. Redshift. Add IAM role. There we go. Cool. All right. Where's my yeah, let's open this. Creator. Why didn't it give me one new window? There you go. Oops. I don't know where that went. Do it the old-fashioned way. Maybe. All right, there we go. So we're in here. We're gonna go Redshift editor. Oh, yeah, we're gonna connect. Oh, there we go. No, connected. Okay, so public. Staying hydrated. Run the copy command. Let's see. Credentials, options, key, whatever, format, blah, blah, blah. You must provide any credentials to IRS user. IRS user with specific privileges. But where? I thought we could use a role. That's the whole point. Redshift S3 role. Try this again. Copy command, copy syntax, copy authorization, required parameters, option, copy authorization. Aha, look at this right here. This looks good. So AWS Playground Sandbox. Who remembers what the name of our file was? The name of our file is MFA send file. .text. Okay, and so then we need to have IAM role. I'm gonna drop the region. I don't think. Oh, I wonder what region I'm in. No idea. That's an S3, which is global. Whatever. Don't worry about that. So that's the role. And then, so what we need to do is get the role. We're gonna go back to IAM for that. And we're gonna go to our roles. We're gonna go to this thing. And it's gonna be this right here. Our ARN again, right? Yep, role ARN. Odds on this working? I have no idea. Let's see what happens. Again, like, just completely messing around with an incredible database that is super powerful and potentially super expensive, except that I can just completely screw around with it and it's fine. Test one failed. STL errors. STL errors. Okay. How do you see STL errors? These are the bane of our existence. The people that actually do all this work. So, do I have? Actually, give me 1 second. I just want to do this. I think everything's fine, but I just want to check. That's how to get Postgres STL errors. That's not going to help. But I do have, so also in my notes, I got this. Wait. I'll check. This is how to check STL load errors from Redshift. That doesn't look right at all. Let's do that thing again. Come on. Hey, maybe it did work. Cool. Here's the problem. File name, query, line number 1, column number 1, type, position, raw line, error code, delimiter not found. Oh, okay. So, I wonder if delimiter expects by default. I would have thought it was CSV. So, run copy commands. We're gonna look for the delimiter. CSV format. Why didn't that go? What was the part table using? It's null. This is nice. You can actually hear the same stuff that I'm nodding my head to. Oh, CSV, what is this? You just put CSV in there? So there's, yeah, okay, so you just put CSV at the end. All right, we can do that. That's not the right one. This is the right one. So the good news is that STL error actually showed us that it was making the connection because it saw the data inside the S3 file. So our role worked, which I'm actually, not gonna lie, I'm kind of surprised that I'm getting this stuff to work. Like I've never really done it before, so I don't have confidence in doing it. I've done a bunch of other stuff, like I was talking about a while ago. Like I've done a bunch of stuff, but like even with all that, I'm still not confident in this thing because and part of it is there's so much in the Amazon infrastructure, and I kind of got thrown in the deep end in my gig, and so I've touched a bunch of these things a little bit, but I don't have a map in my head of like what's what and where's where. So one of the other reasons I'm doing this is for me to actually kind of go and be like, okay, I want to do, like I need to do a thing. I want to like build this little script. So how do I go through and make that happen? And right now I need to have a Redshift database up. Well, I don't know how to make a Redshift database. Super easy. A cluster, you spin it, you wait 5 minutes. And then how do you connect to it? Well, you just go to that query editor. So like I've done some of that other stuff before. Like I knew how to do the query editor part, but I'd never really spun up the database before. Didn't realize how simple that was. Like, I mean, and that's the other thing. Like, so again, with the Amazon services, I sound like an ad for Amazon services. I'm not getting paid by Amazon. The incredible thing is like, so it used to be that the amount of fiddly time you would have to spend setting up a database, even one that's not as complicated as Redshift, is huge. And so they've now just moved that into a web page where you basically say, I want this many clusters and I want this password. Like what did we put in there? A password? And then everything else was basically just defaults. And there was maybe 10, 20 boxes in there, text boxes. You hit go and then you've got the cluster. Like unless you went through all the other stuff, it's tough to get an idea of how quick and easy that is. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still a whole bunch of stuff that's really complicated with the Amazon stuff. Like I think I was telling a story a little while ago. I'm not sure if it was in this one or the other one, where me and a coworker spent around 10 to 20 hours going through all the Amazon stuff, bug hunting to figure out that we needed to uncheck two checkboxes. We now know, like next time we run into it, it'll take us 5 seconds, but it was 10 to 20 hours to get through it that first time. So like there's still tremendous complicated stuff here with all this other stuff, especially in networking and all the other stuff. But like, even that stuff's a lot easier than it used to be because they've got really good web interfaces. So I don't know, it's just FYI. Anyways, this looks like it loaded. So it looks like that command worked. And so now select star from table 1. Survey says, wait for it. This is something that actually surprises me. Oh, table 1 does not exist because it's test 1. It actually surprises me a little bit that Redshift, like, there's nothing in this database other than this one table. I mean, there's like admin stuff, whatever, but like data-wise, there's this one table, and that table has one row with 2 pieces in it. Like, it feels like that shouldn't take 13 seconds to get. Assuming it actually pulls something back, and I'm not. Yep, there we go. Call one data. Oh, okay. So I didn't do the headers. Or I didn't take out the headers. I don't care. I'm just trying to get data to move at this point. Oh, interesting. So, okay, that's cool. Yeah, so I had named this table with those headers, and then that data just kind of flew up there. That's fine. That's cool. It's working. All right, so now the question becomes how... So I'm just trying to figure out what I need to do. So we're going to be using Python stuff again. So that's pushed S3. That's going to throw the file to S3. That's cool. Now we need another file here. Actually, no, I should do. I'm bad at this. I'm actually not nearly as bad at not using Git when I'm not doing these live things, but the live things, for some reason, I just don't... But I guess my brain doesn't shift quite the same way. Woodshed, AWS, MFA, credential command line. So, yeah, there we go. Get status, that should have changed. Good, whatever. Do it. Have session token and push to S3 working. Thank you. So now we need a new file. This is gonna be a marathon one. Actually, I wonder if I should put a break in it. Yeah, I'm gonna put a break. So I'm gonna just pause this for a second and then I'll be right back. I just wanna do this because that makes it a lot easier for me to cut the streams. This will automatically cut the stream for me into individual files to load up YouTube. So that'll make it a little easier for me to deal with. So, thank you for watching. I'm actually gonna flip it to the thank you for watching screen, even though it says thanks for watching. And we'll do this again in 30 seconds.